Hi, Saints. Jesus is the promised Messiah. He is the healer, the redeemer, the deliverer. He makes a way when there is no way. He penetrates hearts. He shines a light into the darkness, and he rattles your heart until you realize, it's you, Lord. I believe in you. I know who you are now. Okay, so he has redeemed me from so much that it's compelled me to study his word. So I've seen how he's fulfilled the law of Moses, the prophets of the Old Testament, and the Psalms. And it makes me realize what he walked through was perfect obedience, number one, but it was also in a way so that we're able to unpack it now to realize things like in him we move and have our being, to learn things like we're on the vine and the Father is the vine dresser. So we're in a container ship. And we study who Jesus is, and we realize that knowing he was going to be beaten, punched in the face, knowing he was going to be whipped in the back and have pieces of his flesh torn out, knowing he was going to have to carry a cross and be, tortured, knowing that, bleeding out of his skin, he still washed the disciples' feet. He got down, even though Judas was stealing, even though Judas was backstabbing him. Judas ran to the front and he washed his feet. This is on his way knowing he's going to go get tortured. So in him we move and have our being. So that's showing us to not have any spiritual pride. Now, knowing what God's redeemed me out of and writing about it for 16 years, waking up at 3:30 in the morning, I have some book royalty money, I have some fruit, and I've bought a place called Redemption House, and now I'm teaching other men and I'm discipling other men, and I'm running into the fact that I don't communicate well. Apparently, I have no abilities whatsoever to change a man at all. None. So I've become frustrated and laughed at myself and turned into a comedian and a shock therapist and just anything that will work to try to impact people, because I have little ability to do anything. Recently, I was telling one of my brothers, about 9 months ago, that there's no way that anybody would go to their death on a cross for a fairy tale. And I thought that for sure he received it. And since then, 9 months of speaking into him about who God is and getting all excited about these revelations. And somebody else explained it to him the same way the other day on a movie screen, and it hit him and he received it. And I was like, God, what? I've been telling you this for a long time. Yeah. Another situation. I'm in a prayer room. I'm praying all the time. I love to pray without ceasing. My life is a prayer to the Lord, praise and prayer. If I'm not writing and studying the Word of God, I'm praying. And if I'm not praying, I'm listening to worship music, because I need God that bad. I'm on the front lines, and I need him in every way to teach me what I'm supposed to do in each situation, in every situation. And he is, and it's beautiful. And these awesome revelations that come to me, I want to just go give them to everybody else. And that's the point of this. I'm going to get to that in a second. But let me humble myself even further. I was in the prayer room, you guys, and I was talking to this lady who doesn't really know me that well, but she's a beautiful saint. She's such a devoted Christian and devoted saint, woman of God. And I was trying to explain to her, what I need prayer for. And she misinterpreted. She thought that I was still like using drugs or something. And I wanted to go, stop, no. I've published 60 books. I've gotten tons of money from it about recovery and turning to God. And now I have Redemption House. I'm actually needing help to pray for how to lead that. Not that I'm in addiction. I've got 10 plus years of sobriety or whatnot. Stop. Instead, I had to just let it be and go, okay, somewhere in here, I need to learn from this. And that's awesome that I was able to not stop the prayer amidst, hold on, stop. So I allowed the prayer to continue, and it was just super humble, and the rest of the people knew, the situation. So it was funny. But back to this. So we're called to be salt and light. Okay? Now, when God gives me a beautiful revelation, or he gives you other saints out there that are just being lifted up and used in mighty ways from where you were to where you are now. I mean, deliverance ministries and all that. But what I want to get you guys to understand is Jesus came to defeat the works of the devil. And by defeating the works of the devil, that means we're praying against the devil instead of calling out other churches, instead of calling each other out. We are praying against the devil. We're not calling them out, because if we do, we're like a ping pong ball. And Satan's using us to divide God's church and his kingdom. So if I start speaking against a pastor, or I start speaking against the whole church in general, I'm being used by Satan to separate people from Jesus Christ, and that he won. He rose from the dead. He rose from the grave. And so judging others, do not judge, for you will be judged. So it's not up to us to decide the motivations of the heart or where a person's at in their walk. No, we're to look at our own heart, realize how far we are from God at times. And anytime you get angry, anytime you get frustrated past a certain point, your heart's no longer committed fully to God, and you're no longer in perfect peace because your mind isn't attuned to God, and you know you have to check yourself. But here's an awesome verse for you guys that have these awesome revelations like I do, and it's in 1 Corinthians 3, and it says, "Brethren, I could not speak to you unto what is spiritual, because you're still carnal. You're baby Christians, as are we all in certain parts of our walk, right? You weren't ready for it, so I had to be gentle with you." So basically, if God's giving you pearls of wisdom and awesome revelation, and you're trying to force them on people that are just little baby Christians right now, they're just receiving the word, then you're allowing what's pure and holy to be trampled underfoot, and you're getting involved in it. So that's what God's showing me right now. Is it's awesome that he's showing me awesome revelations, but if I try to force those on other people, I'm throwing them out to swine who are baby Christians who are still more carnal. And it's better to not try to force it and allow them to walk at the pace they're walking. I'm to the point now where I realize that speaking isn't doing too much at all. It's not that effective to speak, other than to say Jesus is the healer, the redeemer, and the deliverer. If I just speak that over and over again and allow people to see the fruit in my life, they might get curious and say, well, what else is there going on over here? You see what I'm saying? But if I try to explain it all on how it all works and the revelations that are coming to me as it's happening, then I'm really, not really being that effective. It'd be better for me to just put things on the wall saying, do not speak despair into the air. Instead, speak God's words. Redemption House is praise and prayer. We don't speak negative speculations or gossip into the air. We speak praise and prayer to defeat the enemy and the works of the enemy. I'm just going to stick stuff on the wall, you guys, because it turns out that I don't get much accomplished trying to communicate everything.